Hello, beautiful creative people. This is Kyla Givehand of Giving Hands Creative, and I'm coming to you for Book in a Day 14. This is an amazing day, actually. I feel pretty excited about this day for a number of reasons. So I'll start with the fact that we are in National Poetry Writing Month, which is pretty spectacular, I think. Lots of folks are doing blogs where they are doing 30 poems this month, one poem each day, in honor of National Poetry Month. I'm one of those. So if you are not following my blog, you should totally join in the conversation. Some folks are posting in response to my poems, or posting their poems or links to their blogs. So it's pretty exciting. It's a great month for expression and poetic exploration. So that's a pretty special thing in itself. And we're 4 days in. Today is let's get the time up. It is almost 12:20 in the afternoon. It's April 4th, Thursday. And the other thing that's really pretty important for me today is that this evening I will be participating in a poetry reading, or just a reading at Mills College for the newly admitted and prospective students for the MFA program that Mills offers, which is the same program where I received my MFA in 2010. So the thing that's so important about this reading is 5 years ago in 2008, almost to the day, my husband and I traveled out here for this same event in which I was a student. I had been accepted, so I was a newly admitted student, and I was coming to this faculty reading that they do every year for incoming students and people who are interested in the program. So I feel like this is full circle, and it's got me all sort of choked up today. I'm nervous about the reading. I'm excited about it. I'm feeling great about book 14 because I've already sort of thought about it a little bit and decided that I'm doing I'm doing a circular book to represent this idea of a full circle. The idea that I was a student 5 years ago coming in, and I hadn't actually attended a class yet. It was just they call it like a preview. You come in, you meet faculty, you mingle with other students who are going to be coming into the program. And so my husband and I traveled all the way from Florida for this same event 5 years ago, and I sat in the seats and listened to faculty and was completely in awe. And so tonight, I will be on the other side of that as a visiting professor at Mills, where I will be reading from the books that I've been making for Book in a Day. And it's just super exciting. And so this is a really big day. I don't know if I'll get the book done before I go to the event, but if I don't, I'll finish up after the event. But I do know that the book will be sort of a homage to this day and this sort of full circle moment that I'm experiencing, which, man, I can't even tell you how honored I am. So anyway, that's a whole other thing, but I wanted to just give you some context about today's book because it's rare. Sometimes in life we have to wait 10, 15, 20 years for things to come full circle. Something we started to circle back on itself and reveal itself. And I just feel so blessed that within 5 years' time I'm able to have that experience and appreciate that experience and just be so thankful and grateful. So aside from being ridiculously nervous about tonight in the reading, I am also very, very honored and excited to be reading with some amazing folks. So with all of that said, no further ado, let's talk about the book. So the book is going to be circle. That much I know. That's about all I know. I have this fancy little circle cutter that I'm going to use. I have used this maybe one other time in my life, and it was a while ago, and I don't remember how to use it exactly, but I'm going to figure it out as we go. I do know that it sort of sits, you press and hold this down, and this part spins and cuts in a circle. So I have to put the little blade in. I think these are the blades. I put them there, and yeah, then we make a circle. So the book is going to be circle using this contraption. And oh, I'm going to start by taking a large piece of Fabriano watercolor paper and doing a bunch of different things to it, just doing like a mixed media hodgepodge collage on it that I will then cut the circles out of. So that, I believe, will be the bulk of the work for today. It'll be me making this sort of, yeah, hodgepodgey. I'm gonna try to stay in some really light colors today. I feel like I've been using a lot of blues and burgundies and browns. Today I'm gonna try to go in a more pastel direction. We'll see, pastels and metallics even maybe. And yeah, I'm gonna make a collage on this large piece of paper. I think it is 24 by something. I could probably measure this, which I should think about doing if I can find my ruler. But I think it is 18 by 24 is what I'm thinking. I'm almost certain it is. So this is just a large piece of Fabriano watercolor paper. And I literally am going to just do multimedia on this. I'm going to use a bunch of different texture. Well, I have to think about what the book is actually going to end up being, but I'm not going to focus on that too much. I'm just going to get some color down on the page, and then I'm going to do some stamping, make a lot of background, and just really try to get some get a very layered look on this paper, because this is the paper I'm going to cut the circles out of. And I don't know yet. I've been thinking about doing circles, doing a bunch of different, cutting out as many circles as I can get out of this page, and then taking that and punching holes in them and using a ring holder to keep them together. I haven't quite decided yet, so I'm thinking on it. I'll work through that part as I'm doing this, because this part of getting the color down on the page, this is the therapeutic part. I think I'm going to start with, part of me wants to start with gesso, but I also like just going right onto the paper. So I'm going to think about that for a second, and then I'm just going to come back and get started because I don't have a lot of time. The reading is in less than 6 hours, so I've got to yeah, I've got limited time. Okay, so again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here at the end. So I want to do a quick time check. It's 4:51, and it's time for me to start gearing up to leave. I've actually been off camera working on what I'm going to read tonight, and yeah, so I was allowing this to dry, and now that it has dried completely, I'm going to put one more layer of, I'm going to put just a sponge. I'm going to take this spouncer, and I'm just going to sponge a layer of pearl white over the top of it, and then I'm going to allow that to dry, and then I'm probably going to go to the reading, and I will resume the book when I get back. I may cut the circles out before I go. We'll see. So that's what's happening next. Okay, so the page itself is done. I am going to, before I leave, I'm going to go ahead and try to cut out at least one circle and see what we get. And that will give me time to think about this process while I'm away and see if there's anything I need to tweak or shift or change. I think that will be helpful. Okay, so I'm going to start by just finding, probably need to come out a little bit. See if I can make this work. Okay, so that's interesting. So I got one circle out of that, and I think I'm going to really like it once I get my circle cutting correct. So I'm just going to cut out a few more circles and see what happens. Okay, so I've cut out 4, and I'm going to stop there for now until I return back from my event tonight. But let's just say I'm excited. What? This is awesome. Okay, so I have the 4, and what I'm thinking is that I'm going to do a back-to-back sort of thing. I think I'm going to use some, what I really wish I had was fusion, where I could fusion paper, where I could fuse these together with I have some heat bond. I don't know if it works for paper, but it works for fabric. I wonder if I could use that with an iron on low heat, because I really want it to have a pressed, smooth, closed feeling. So anyway, I still don't know what exactly I'm doing with these. Again, I might punch a little hole and use a ring, and just have multiple cards on a ring. I don't know yet, so I'm going to continue to think about that. And I have 4 cut out, and I want to keep cutting circles, and I may do that and just have a bunch of them. We'll see. Okay, so that's where I am right now, and it is, did I already do the time? I don't know. It's 5:12. I need to go get dressed because I got to get out of here. Okay, so I'll see you back after the reading. Bye. Well, hello there. We are back, and the reading was wonderful. I had a great time. I met some amazing students who are coming in to the Mills College program. It was absolutely fabulous to meet them and spend time with them. and I got to read with some amazing colleagues. So it was just a great night. It was really beautiful. I felt very honored and humbled to be a part of it. So, and then I had some great friends come out, people who I was in the program with, Lily and Ishmael and Nicole. It was great. So yeah, I just want to check in on the time. It's 10:43, and I think I know where I'm going with the book. It's going to require me to do a lot more math than I want to do, which means I'm going to have to confer with my husband, the math teacher, and get some help on that. But before I left, I just want to check into where we are. So I cut out circles before I left. That was the start, and I'm actually going to cut a few more because I did try with this one. I scored it to see if maybe I want to do a book that I don't know, that has a score line and would open like a regular book, but that doesn't, it feels odd and weird, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I think instead I'm going to figure out something to do with just the full circle itself and see what I can come up with. So I am going to do some math offline and I shall return. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay. Alright, so we're back and it's super late. I knew I was going to be up late tonight though. It's 1:30 in the morning. And I do need to go to bed because I have a presentation to give tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. But I'm ready for it, so because I had my week all planned out. Alright, so let's move this light. Okay, so we have 2 circles. I went ahead and put some color on the back of this, but I didn't want it to be the same because the technique I'm going to show you, or the structure that I'm going to do, is it helps if both sides aren't the same. So first thing we have to do is, so I mentioned that I had to get some help from my husband because he's a math teacher and I needed fractions upon fractions and such. So the first thing to do is to find the halfway mark of the circles. So I'm just going to fold it like a taco and try to get it even here so that I can get a slight indentation of where my center is. And I'm just going to squeeze at one end here just so I can mark my center. Or actually I'm going to do it at both ends so that when I use my paper cutter I can line it up. Okay. And ideally they're both going to get cut the exact same because ideally they are the exact same size square or circle. So I'm just going to line them up nice and straight. Then I'm going to cut. I'm cutting them at the same time in case I screw it up. They'll be the same. Now I've made myself nervous about doing it. Okay, I hope that's right. Okay, so now they're cut in half. Okay, so now I need to mark them off so that I basically want to measure. I want to find the center point of this half circle and bring these corners into the center. So that requires measuring. My circle is a little shy of 5 inches. It's actually 4 and 15 sixteenths. Four and 15/16. And they should all be the same. Looks like they are. Okay, so I have marked my halves so that I basically have a 1/4 inch here, 1 1/4 and 1 1/4. And I did that on all 4. So this little section will be 1 4/4, and this will be 1 1/4, 1 1/4. So when you make your measurements, you're basically going to measure the diameter here, and you're going to take that number and divide it into fourths, so that you can have a 1/4 on this end and a 1/4 on this end. Okay. And in between those 2 points should be your center, the center of the half circle. So now I'm just going to use my scoring board, and I'm going to score these pieces. Okay, here comes the fun part. So I'm going to erase my pencil marks first. And I realized that I failed to mention the name of this structure is a Flexagon. And a Flexagon, or the way of the sort of way it's going to fold is called a Flexagon. And with that, it doesn't have to be a circle. Mine is going to be a circle today because of the thematic approach I'm taking to this book. So now that it's scored, I'm going to take my pieces, fold them over, and use my bone folder to really crease that line in. And remember, I'm using a Teflon bone folder so it won't burnish my paper. So I'm just going to make sure these are nice and creased. And I will meet you back on the other side of this. Okay, once they're folded and scored, my next chore is to actually put the book together. So one part of the book is going to, two halves will come together to form a whole, and they will be placed down with the cut going vertically. And then this group will be placed down on top of that with the cut going horizontally. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky because I have to figure out how to glue these down, but only in a little spot. So let me do that again. So when these are together, I'm going to use a little bit of tape just to help me demonstrate here what I'm doing. So I'm going to place those two together, put a little piece of tape on it to hold them. Then this one is going to go in the opposite direction. And when I say this one, I mean the cut line goes in the opposite direction, but it gets placed on the circle as a circle. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on that. So ideally, I am now going to take my circle, fold the flaps back, and there will be a little round quarter section. Looks like a slice of pizza or a slice of pie right out of there. See if I can get that closer to the camera for you to see. So see where that little intersection happens right there? This little section? That's where I want to put glue. And then I want to close this down and hold it and make sure it stays. And I'm going to do that on all four flaps. So I'll do it again here, and again here. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. And I think I'm going to use gel medium. No, I'm going to use PVA. So I'm going to use PVA for this because I don't think a glue stick is going to be enough. This paper is pretty thick. It might actually be too thick for what I'm trying to force it to do, but we're going to do it anyway. Beautiful creative people, it is time for me to sign on off. It is pretty late tonight. I think I anticipated this, but we're at 3:05 in the morning, Friday, April 5th, and the book is done. So I showed you how to glue the parts together. Now I want to show you what the book does when you are reading it. So it opens this way, and then it flips like that, and then again like this, and then one more time like that. So the book itself goes in a full circle, which I love because I started thinking about the fact that I had cut the circles in half, and that took away from the integrity of the circle being full. But the way the book folds and opens, it basically makes a complete circle. Awesome. I love it. So I'll do that one more time. It opens, and then this flips back, that flips up, and this opens like that. And one more time. Again, this structure is called the Flexagon, but it's circular, so and I want to say that I learned how to make this probably with Julie Chen I would think. This seems like a Julie structure. But I can't be sure because I also learned to make a Flexagon but square, I think, at a book talk that I went to with Elisa Golden. So yeah, it's one of those two wonderful women. So again, the book is called Full Circle, and I guess I could read some text to you. So I did these rubber stamp images of different types of circles that I had. This says infinite options. This one says stranger things have happened. And this one says unlimited possibilities. When you flip it open to the next segment, this becomes infinite possibilities, and then the center says completion. Then this 1986-2004 represents a full circle, because I met my husband when I was 13 in 1986, and we didn't get married or even become more than friends. Well, we became more than friends before 2004, but 2004 is when we got married. So that to me was a full circle, because we were friends for 15 years before we ever dated or held hands or anything. So, and then these numbers just represent 360 is the full circumference of a circle, and then the 0 is just another form of a circle. And then we're back to the beginning. So I'm very happy about this book. I'm not happy that it took me till 3 in the morning to do it, but I also had an amazing reading this evening at Mills College and got to meet some of the wonderful incoming students who I hope to see in my community teaching class in the fall. And I sat down and had a meal, and I got to see some friends who I haven't seen in a while, and it was great. I had a good time, and so it was well worth it to stay up a little extra and finish this book in order to do all of those things. So I think it's important for life and art to happen simultaneously, and for us to keep creating through all the other things that we have to do. So today was one of those days. So again, Full Circle, book 14. Absolutely wonderful, and I'm happy about the way it has ended. So I have a lot of other circles left. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm sure I'll find something to do with them. Okay, so please, if you want more information, you want photos, and you want to see the materials that I used and get some additional information on the Flexagon structure, I look forward to seeing you over on my blog, givinghandscreative.blogspot.com, over at the Ning site, givinghands.ning.com, or just here on the YouTube channel. My Facebook page is also, I don't really post much about Book in the Day there, just photos and a link back to the blog, but you're welcome to join me for a poem in a day. I'm writing one poem a day for the month of April. I'd love to have you join me in that venture as well. Otherwise, I will see you next week for Book in a Day 15. That seems like I should do something pretty special. 15 seems like a benchmark number. We'll see how the week goes, because I'm also supposed to travel. Uh-oh. All right, so have a great creative week, and I will see you back here in 7 days. Thanks. Bye.